thought that my nephew was dead. And I was terrified to even hear that a child even died.
A Clark County community living through a nightmare tonight. A child dead, more than 20 others injured after this Northwestern elementary school bus overturned. All of this taking place the morning of the first day of school. We want to give you an idea of where all this took place this morning. That bus overturned where Lawrenceville Drive and State Route 41 meet. The crash just a 4-minute drive down the road from the elementary school where it was headed in German Township. Now, we have been following this, of course, throughout the day today, speaking with experts and parents, and we have team coverage for you tonight. We first want to go to Elise Coulter. She is live near that scene tonight. Elise, you've been talking to people in that community. How are they dealing with the unimaginable tonight?
Adam, you said it. It is the absolute unimaginable here for the German Township community. They are entirely in mourning. And I want to show you this sign here behind me. 2 women who live just directly across from that crash site tonight put this sign out saying, "Warrior strong, stronger together." And as I sat out here for several hours, several members of the community came out, even a father of one of the kids on the bus this morning, telling me his son is okay tonight. And of course, he's thankful for that. But neighbors tell me that scene was complete chaos.
This morning, just sitting in our living room and just started seeing cop after cop after cop, and I started kind of getting worried because you don't see that many cops.
David Lewis lives off State Route 41. He describes the sights and sounds of this chaotic scene.
I came outside and then I saw the bus flipped over, and then I just saw it seemed like hundreds of cops and people just out of unmarked cars running with tourniquets, pulling them out of their bags and just running. It's crazy. I have never seen anything like that. And it makes me, it kind of choked me up just thinking of your little kids.
Sergeant Tyler Ross from the Ohio State Highway Patrol explained what happened as a driver of a van, Hermanio Joseph, went over the center line.
That school bus attempted to take evasive action and drive onto the shoulder, but they still made contact. After contact, the school bus traveled off the right side of the roadway and overturned.
That bus, driven by Alfred Collier, was just 1.6 miles and 6 minutes from its destination, Northwestern Elementary School. It had 52 students on board.
There was one student that succumbed to fatal injuries at the scene of the crash. They were ejected from the school bus.
20 other students taken to Dayton Children's. Most are expected to be okay. One child tonight still fighting for their life.
Nobody thinks that they're going to, they put their kids on 3 minutes and the next minute you see all hundreds of cops going and your school bus just flipped off with your kids. So it's absolutely heartbreaking.
And as the community rallies behind the students' families involved, they also think about the man behind the wheel of the bus who tried to swerve and avoid tragedy.
For the bus driver, my heart goes out to him because he's going to have to relieve that, and he's going to probably blame himself. So we feel really bad, and we'll be praying for her.
We do know tonight that classes at Northwestern local schools are canceled for tomorrow. There will be grief counselors on hand, however, at all of the schools beginning at 8 o'clock in the morning. There's also a vigil that's being planned at the Lawrenceville Church of God at 6 o'clock tomorrow night. Now, we did some digging tonight, and we also found out some information about school bus crashes in general. In fact, the National Highway and Traffic Safety Administration, or NTSB, collected data on every crash between 2011 and 2020. Now, the administration found that during that time, there were just a little more than 1,000 deadly crashes that involved school buses. 113 of those were killed inside those buses, and 53 bus drivers were killed. Another 60 passengers have died as well. Now, as the community mourns the loss tonight and really is grieving as a whole tonight, questions are now mounting over whether there should have been seatbelts on that school bus. Now, Gwyneth Falloon is live outside of the elementary school tonight. And Gwen, I know you've been following this story, and what have you been able to dig up about this?
Well, Elise, it's certainly a controversial topic here in Ohio, but one that has been discussed several times and for many years. But this morning's tragedy is now forcing many parents to take a closer look at what safety measures are or should be in place for their students who take this bus to school every single day.
I know they say that seatbelts shouldn't be put on buses, but I really pray that they change their mind on that, because for the sake of this family and other families that have lost their children due to bus accidents, because I feel like it could have been prevented.
Now, just over a year ago, the Ohio Parent Teacher Association released the statement that you see on your screen, pushing for mandated seatbelts on our state school buses. Now, I also did some digging and found that there are only 3 districts in the entire state of Ohio that require seatbelts. Those are all located in the Cleveland area. That's Avon Lake, Beechwood, and Hudson City Schools. Now, the National Transportation Safety Board, the NTSB, recommends all states require seatbelts on school buses. However, just the 9 states you see highlighted in green on your screen have this as a requirement. Now, on the opposite side, though, the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration argues school buses are one of the safest vehicles that you're going to see on the road, and that's for many different reasons. They also say seatbelts are only effective if they're worn, and that could be difficult to enforce depending on things like a student's age or if there's this bus aid present. Now, more on this story can be found on our website, Dayton247now.com. Back to you.
Gwen, thanks. So we want to recap now everything that we know about the people involved in that crash. The driver and passenger in that Honda Odyssey that crashed, they were taken to Springfield Regional Medical Center but are expected to be okay. The bus driver also expected to be fine. Now, as for the children, 20 were treated and released from Dayton Children's Hospital. As of this evening, though, 2 more are still in the hospital. And again, 1 child was killed in that crash. We, of course, are continuing to monitor for updates from Northwestern local schools. This is the final message of the evening from the superintendent there. He writes that classes are canceled tomorrow and there's grief counselors available for anyone who needs the extra support. Those counselors will be in the elementary, junior, and senior high school and will all be open starting at 8 tomorrow morning. He, of course, also offering his heartfelt prayers to all the families who were impacted. Local leaders and lawmakers also responding to that tragedy today. Democratic U.S. Senator Sherrod Brown posting that him and his wife Connie are heartbroken for the families and that no parent should ever have to get a call about a deadly crash, especially on what's supposed to have been an exciting first day of school. Governor Mike DeWine taking to X, formerly known as Twitter, saying, quote, "This morning's school bus accident in Clark County is truly heartbreaking. Fran and I offer our sincere condolences to the family of the young child who was killed. Our hearts also go out to those on the bus and their families, peers, and teachers. Our prayers are with you all." Local schools from around the Miami Valley also taking to social media to share their condolences. Schools like Tecumseh local schools taking to Facebook, offering thoughts and prayers to the district, saying, quote, "Our hearts are with you." Mad River local school district also going on Facebook, saying it's standing with the community during this difficult time. And London City Schools in Franklin County saying, please keep our friends in your thoughts and your prayers. And speaking of prayers, again, as Elise mentioned, that community prayer service is going to be held tomorrow for the Northwestern family who lost their child today. It's taking place at 6 in the evening at the Lawrenceville Church of God. That's on Fox Hollow Road, and that service is open to the public. Now, you can read all of our coverage from today. It is continuing to be updated at Dayton247now.com. It's right there on the homepage. Okay, so it's a difficult transition, but an important one. We want to talk about weather because it is going to get dangerously hot. It already is hot. It's going to get even worse.
Yeah, tomorrow you're going to feel a big difference, but it's really Thursday. That's when we start to feel the dangerous heat across the area. Today we stayed into the 80s. We're tracking 90s tomorrow, and then upper 90s potentially could be breaking records, or pretty close to it at least, as we head into our day on Thursday. So air temperatures, they're going to be in the mid upper 90s by Thursday afternoon. You factor in the humidity, it's going to feel even warmer, around 105 to even higher than that. Again, record to beat 99 set back in 1903. So we'll see if we can get there. I think we're going to be pretty close, but as of right now, excessive heat watches in place. This is something we don't see issued too often right here in the Miami Valley. Bigger picture, though, excessive heat warnings already in place off to our west, so our excessive heat watch is just ahead of the excessive heat warning that's expected to be issued for our area during the day on Thursday. So heat index values, they're going to be climbing. Wanted to show you this. As we head into tomorrow afternoon, we'll start to see those dew points climb into the lower 70s. So even though we'll be in the lower 90s, it's going to feel close to 100 by later into the day tomorrow, even warmer on Thursday. I'll have more on that coming up in just a bit.
Natalie, thanks to Kettering Police Department responding to this controversial video we showed you yesterday. It appears to show an officer punching a man who was resisting arrest. His 38-year-old Mark Coleman, KPD releasing body camera, cruiser cam footage today, told us the officers on scene deployed a taser to try to get him to comply.
There is a lot of reaction to this, and I think the public needs to understand that officers are well trained, and the force again that we try to use is just that force that's just one step above what the person who is offering resistance to those officers. So if you see something like this, I get what people think, but it's part of the job and it's what officers have to do sometimes.
Now we've learned the officers involved, Doug Kowalski and Marcus Lowell, they are not on leave. The chief says the force they used has been deemed reasonable. Coleman faces 5 charges in this incident, including resisting arrest and possession of drugs. 4 teens were arrested after a fight broke out at a football game in Madison Township in Franklin County. An 18-year-old, 2 17-year-olds, and a 16-year-old were all arrested, and police say they found 3 guns that all had Glock switches on them, making them automatic weapons. Luckily, nobody was hurt out of this, but the whole thing left police questioning if the teens understand the severity of what could have happened.
These kids, and that's what I'll call them, were laughing when they were in the back seat of our cruisers. They are not taking it serious. They think this is a joke. They know the system. They know there's no consequences.
Last year, during the same matchup, shots were fired in the parking lot at Groveport Madison. The school is using a security screening system for this Friday's home game. People in southern Texas, they're getting hammered tonight by heavy rain and strong winds, all thanks to Tropical Storm Harold. We got an update on that storm next.
And tonight, an entire community in Clark County is grieving after a deadly school bus crash coming up. We're going to speak to the family of one of the survivors of that crash, just how scary those moments were. Coming up.
Plus how hot we're going to feel by later this week. I'll have more on that coming up. Here's a live look from our Eco Plumber Skycam. You're watching Dayton 24/7 now.
Northwestern local schools taken to Facebook tonight multiple times after one of their students was killed in a bus crash early this morning. All of this taking place on the first day of school, and we want to take you back out to where this crash happened. Elise Coulter has been there all day today. Elise, it's tough as a parent. I know you have kids. I have kids of school age. Natalie does too. You can't really put yourself in the shoes of these parents coming to this crash scene to see if their child is okay.
No, you absolutely cannot do that, Adam. I can't even imagine what those parents, what was going through their minds, to be perfectly honest with you. In fact, we want to continue our team coverage tonight because Isabel Hansen actually spoke with a family member of a crash survivor from today's crash and explains what was going through their mind as they arrived at the crash scene this morning.
The aunt of a student on the bus says she and other parents ran to the crash site, hoping to hear their kid was okay. This seems a sight no parents want to see. She describes the moments waiting at the reunification site as filled with panic and fear. Her nephew has a minor cut but is okay. She says it was devastating to see other parents react to hearing both good and bad news about their kids.
It just pulls on my mom heart. You know, I have 3 children of my own, and the concern and fear and panic that went through me when it was my nephew, I cannot imagine what that mother must have been feeling, knowing that it could have been her child, and then to find out that it was. My heart goes out to them.
Throughout the evening, students, parents, and community members have been making this memorial at the site of the crash to honor and remember the student who died. Back to you.
Isabel, thanks. We've been keeping you up to date on this tragedy throughout the day, on air and online. You can find all of our coverage in one place, and that's at Dayton247now.com.
Well, heat and humidity in the forecast over these next couple of days. So today we were in the 80s. Humidity, it wasn't terrible, but tomorrow that's going to be a different story. You're going to start to feel it by the late morning hours of tomorrow. This is about 5 p.m. Potential heat index values indicating 90s off to our west. I'm thinking even higher than that. Now this is indicating even some clouds and some lingering shower activity, keeping things a little cooler off to our east. So that's a potential for the day tomorrow. But Thursday, here's a look at what we could feel like by Thursday afternoon into the evening, potentially greater than 105, if not even higher than that. So steamy one expected for our day on Thursday, but we're also going to be tracking a small chance for some storms. With this dome of hot air, activity is going to be riding around this, so we're going to be right along the edge of this. So over these next couple of days, we will monitor for a few showers and thunderstorms. It could have an impact on our temperature, so just stay weather aware of these next several days.
Natalie, thanks. And speaking of severe weather, it is making waves all across the country tonight. Tropical Storm Harold made landfall in southern Texas. Now, it's the first to come ashore in the U.S. this Atlantic hurricane season. Harold's got wind gusts of 45 miles per hour, expected to bring that heavy rain, storm surges up to 3 feet. Some parts of South Texas could also see tornadoes. Now, more than 1 million people are under tropical storm warnings there. Over on the West Coast, historic tropical storm Hillary has lost most of its steam. Rain from that storm triggered flash flooding and caused record rainfall in parts of Southern California. Officials say Death Valley National Park likely saw a full year's worth of rain Monday. Nevada has also seen some flooding. Idaho, next in line for thunderstorms and torrential rains. It's the first tropical storm to hit California in 84 years. In Hawaii, that death toll from the catastrophic wildfires in Maui now at 115. There is still 850 people missing. A White House official says the search for remains is close to 90% finished now. Back in our area, this is a live look from our Troy traffic camera tonight. It is another hot one, and it is only continuing to get hotter.
Yeah, heat, humidity in the forecast, and I mentioned earlier how we're going to be on the edge of this storm system. So storm system's kind of riding right on the eastern edge of our area. So with that, we do have a low wind potential for some of those storms to be on the stronger side. This would mainly be late into the day on Thursday. Thursday night, it's looking like the potential. if we do see those storms happening. So that's something we'll watch for as we head into Thursday. Damaging winds would be the main concern. But of course, the biggest threat right now is going to be the heat. So 97 for a high on Thursday. Record to beat will be 99, set back in 1903. 92 on Friday. So staying pretty hot even by Friday. But we do have relief on the way. By the weekend, start of next week, our highs start to drop back into the lower 80s, even some upper 70s, which will be back below normal for this time of the year.
One of the country's largest universities now has a new leader. Up next, who's been appointed to head OSU and what's his background. You're watching Dayton 24/7 now. Well, this has been a tough day in our area. Nowhere is that more true than the Northwestern local schools community tonight. We know a bus carrying 52 students crashed, overturned. One student was killed. One is still in critical condition. More than 20 were taken to area hospitals where they are hopefully now recovering tonight at home. Elise Coulter has been out at that scene all night tonight. Elise, I wonder if you can recap what we know as we head into tomorrow. I can only imagine.
Yeah, Adam, the community out here just completely devastated. They have been grieving all day. Parents have been coming out to this scene. Parents who didn't even have kids on the school bus have been coming out here, laying flowers, laying teddy bears, balloons. They have been putting up candles. And even since we've been out here since 10 o'clock tonight, we've had several people show up in the pitch dark to put stuff out at the makeshift memorial. Now, this sign that you see here behind me, we actually had two women. They live directly across the street from that crash scene. In fact, they were on the scene this morning when the school bus crashed, telling us that they put this sign out here saying warriors strong and stronger together, because they want their community to know that they are thinking of them, they are praying for them, and they know that they will be stronger together. Now, just so you guys know at home, again, Northwestern local schools have canceled classes for tomorrow, beginning at 8 o'clock in the morning at all of the schools. That means elementary, junior, and senior high schools. They will have grief counselors on hand beginning at 8 o'clock in the morning for anyone, parents, students who want to come and just talk about what they're feeling right now and what they are dealing with. Also, that's open to the public tomorrow night at 6 o'clock, just about a mile and a half down the road from the crash site at Lawrenceville Church of God. They're going to have a public vigil for anybody who wants to attend. So again, grief counselors on hand at all of the schools tomorrow beginning at 8 a.m. and then that vigil tomorrow night at 6 p.m. And of course, we will continue to follow this story as soon as we learn more or any new information. Of course, we will update you here on our air, but also at Dayton247now.com. For now, Adam, of course, I'm going to send it back to you in the studio.
All right, Elise, thank you for all your coverage tonight. And we, of course, as Elise mentioned, will continue to monitor this situation. There's going to be a lot of updates over the next several days and weeks. It's all going to be in one place, and that's at Dayton247now.com. Again, you can get continuous updates there, all the latest information right there on the homepage. To Columbus now, and The Ohio State University has a new president. The Board of Trustees has unanimously appointed Walter Ted Carter Jr. as the school's new leader. This comes after a months-long search after the previous president, Dr. Christina Johnson, abruptly resigned in May. Now, Carter has a long history in both education and the military.
Well, I've been very fortunate. I've been in the higher education space for 10 years. And the reason I am in this space is I love being with students. I mean, they're the whole reason we exist. 66,000 students here at this amazing campus. So what our students will find is I will engage. I hope they will think that I'm approachable and that I will listen.
Now, his tenure